About 5 miles west of Lake Michigan, in the Chicago suburb of Libertyville, is Lamb's Farm. Although adjacent to a busy interstate, this children's attraction makes you feel as though you're out in the country with its mini golf course and petting zoo. Lamb's also features a restaurant, snack shops, and a gift shop. Founded by a nonprofit in the 1960s, their mission is helping people with developmental disabilities lead productive, happy lives. Located on the property is a 15-foot-tall Paul Bunyan holding a large axe and a fiberglass bovine named Bessie. We came here to learn about this Muffler man, but found a much bigger story. The friendly staff who care for the animals were very engaging and happy to answer all our questions. Their passion and love for their work was evident as they went about their daily chores. Katie told us all about the many animals, mostly rescues, who call Lamb's Farm home.
And her job.
So we have over 300 animals at Lamb's Farm. Last count, recent count, was 317. And all of them are either retired, misplaced animals, or in need of homes. And we can provide a home for them and then share them with the community. And it's a very interesting organization to be a part of because we're not only just children's zoo, but we're also a job site for adults with disabilities. And this is Chisholm here. He was born in March of this year, and he was hand raised by myself and my colleagues at Lamb's Farm, and he lives with his other peers, his goats that are peers. He's the only sheep in this pen, and we have several different life stage groupings of goats and sheep and things like that. So we have our elderly, and we have our young, and we have our very young. Like this is our very young pen. But we do a lot with animals, and we do a lot with people with disabilities and giving them a good vocational center.
Great. Can you show us your ducks?
Yes. The two white ducks there, a man in Chicago got ducklings, and he thought it would be a good idea to have them in his bathtub, those two white ducks. That's Fluff and Snow, and they obviously, ducks poop every 15 minutes, so it wasn't a good idea for Chicago, for an apartment. So he reached out to us, and we were able to provide a home for them. We're kind of at our max. We can't always take animals all the time, but we do have a network of other organizations that we referred people to, and so it works out pretty well. Youngest babies, they're just getting weaned right now.
Oh boy, they know you.
Hi, come here.
Okay. Okay, baby. Or like our little children's zoo is this garden pen, which was donated to us, and we put out chickens, we put out pigs, we put out goats and sheep. We have a miniature horse who has dwarfism who goes out there and she gets to graze. We also are home to 2 sulcata tortoises, and so their actual home, like this first pen here is Betty's pen, and that's where she summers every single summer. So that's her permanent residence here. She's coming out of her hut. I don't know if you can see her moving there. Yeah, that's Betty. She's a sulcata tortoise. She was a 1990 baby. So she's getting
30 years old.
Yeah, she's 30 years old almost.
Many thanks to Marissa Radmaker, the communications director at Lamb's Farm, for sharing this wonderful story with us.
Started as a pet shop in 1961 in Chicago on State Street. So we've been around for over 50 years, which is pretty cool. But how it kind of came about was our co-founders, Bob, Therese, and Corinne Owen, they were teachers at a school and they taught students with special needs. And at that time there wasn't really any advancements or any access for them to do the things that they would deserve to do. And they recognized that, so they decided to start teaching them different life skills. They taught them everything from, they would do cooking classes with them, they would take them out and do sports, and just really made their lives so much more meaningful. And they're like, hey, they can do all this stuff like we can, so let's give them jobs that are meaningful. So they chose animals because of their forgiving nature, and it's just a nice one-on-one thing. They wouldn't judge them. So they opened up a pet shop, and then they started with 12 individuals, and it just kind of grew from there. So in 1965, they decided, all right, we have to get some more space here because there's a lot more people in need of jobs. So they moved here, and we got a big donation from W. Clement Stone at that time. So then they moved here, and the big barn that you see there, which you might have saw when you came in, that's still the pet shop. So we still have adoptable puppies there from Right Way Rescue. We work with them. They're our partner for puppies. We also have a Sugar Maple Country Store and Bakery where we have a full bakery there. We ship all across the country. Catalog season is huge, so Christmas time is probably our busiest time of year. And then they also figured they could do restaurant work too, so we also have a restaurant that also does weddings and banquets and all kinds of stuff. And then we also have a farmyard, which you guys went to, and we have over 300 animals there. And every week we share a story about each of the animals on our Facebook page, just kind of how they got here, and things like that. And we also have a rich history in our thrift shop too, which is ran strictly on donations, which is pretty cool. And then the last thing that we have is a work center where companies like Abbott, we do stuff for like printing companies. They do folding, or they do things with test tubes, and they get paid per piece, which is awesome. And so we started with 12 individuals, and actually some of them are still around, some original lambs we call them. They're older, but they started with our co-founders. They're here. I think there's about 5 or 6 of them. And we started with that many, and now we have over 225 adults with disabilities who live here. We have 9 houses that are, down by past the farmyard where our like corporate offices. So yeah, there's about 12 in each house. We have, for those who are more independent, we have an apartment building for them, and we also have a center for the elderly, and then we have a nourishment center where they go when they're retired. We have Quest classes, which are just all kinds of hobbies where they continue learning. We have everything from talent show to leatherworking to painting to they do a travel class. They do stuff that I would love to do. And we also have 12 Special Olympic sports.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so
Really?
there's a lot going on here, and it's an awesome place.
Wow.
Peoria, Illinois, a city of over 100,000 people, is located in the central part of the state on the Illinois River. In an industrial part of the city, in front of Plaza Tire, stands Vanna Whitewall. One of 13 or so remaining Uniroyal gals, this Jackie O lookalike stands 17 feet tall, including her bright red high heels. Vanna has stood at this location for over 50 years, even after a car hit her, fracturing her leg. She is mounted on her original frame, which holds a no parking sign, and she is dressed in a bright red bikini. Due to a steady stream of customers, the tire shop employees were too busy for an interview, but did grant us access to Vanna's other wardrobe, a skirt and blouse, stored in the garage. When the gals were first introduced in the 1960s, their attire, or lack of it, caused outrage, so they were sent back and fitted with a modest skirt and blouse. Vanna wears her red blouse and blue skirt when the weather turns cold. The quaint little town of Atlanta is located in the central part of Illinois and has a population of around 1,700 people. In addition to a historic restaurant, a clock tower, and several small businesses, a customized Paul Bunyan Muffler man holding a hot dog is a prominent feature in the downtown area. One of the most iconic along Route 66, he has stood on Arch Street since late 2003. Hamlet A. Stevens opened a hot dog stand in Cicero, Illinois in 1965. He ordered the hot dog holding statue from Venice, California in an effort to promote his business. He called the restaurant Bunyan's, purposely misspelling the name so as not to have copyright issues. The hot dog muffler man stood in Cicero, outside Chicago, for nearly 40 years. When Mr. Stevens turned 80 in 2002, several towns vied for the big statue. Atlanta, Illinois won out, promising to display him prominently as a symbol of Route 66. While in Atlanta, be sure to take a step back in time and have a meal at the Palms Grill. We enjoyed a delicious lunch and conversation with our server and several other Route 66 travelers.
I'm just sitting here, I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together, it's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth.